Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Ipswich Buses pre-game show. And maybe, if you're like me, you maybe sat at home, sat in the car, sat shopping with the wife, whatever you might be doing, feeling pretty miserable because you should be at Stadium MK with 7,000 other town fans. And if you're active on social media, it makes it all that little bit worse because you see the pictures, you see the tweets, you feel the atmosphere, and you just can't be there. Hey, but we deal with whatever hand life gives us, my friends. So we will do our best to provide you with some entertaining content this afternoon as we go through the journey of Ipswich Town in a big game. It's not always pretty. It's not always great. It's not always what we want. But hopefully today is the time we can turn up, stand up, and go toe-to-toe with somebody who is above us in the table and a good measuring stick in which to judge ourselves by. We've got 3 minutes till kickoff, so let me know in the chat, who do you want to see in the starting 11? What do you want to be the team today? We've got Simon Wall and Kieran Baines putting early comments in. Welcome in, guys. But 7,000 town fans. Huge game or slightly over egging the pudding? I'd love to know. We'll bring in Yatesy first. Yatesy, welcome in, my man. How you doing?
I'm all right. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. We'll try and make it as entertaining an afternoon as we can to soothe those feelings. Because if you're like me, I want to be there, man. I mean, obviously I can't be there for several reasons, but just you want to be there, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, my mate who lives up here as well, he offered me the chance last week. He said, do you want to grab one of those last few tickets? And unfortunately, I had booked someone in today to get a tattoo, so I couldn't really reschedule them. So unfortunately, I did have the chance and I turned it down. But
yeah,
we're
here.
I'm looking at the weather. I get to be a bit warm, and I get to share the afternoon with you, so it's not too bad.
There you go. And the beautiful people such as Matt Whiting, Ben Hobbs, Kieran Baines, EJ Norris, Simon Wall, and the rest of the TT community that aren't there. But there's a huge part of us that are, and obviously 7,000 town fans. 2 minutes now till the team news read out. Who do you want to see in the starting 11 today, Kurt? Who particularly do you want to see wearing the shirt? Oh, sorry, Curtis. I pressed the wrong button. There you go.
I think you have to have Morsey back in, don't we? I think.
Yeah.
For me, I think we have been missing a bit of grit in that midfield, because I think sometimes our midfield can just get a bit overrun sometimes.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's anyone I'm really dying to see. I mean, maybe I might fancy Joe Pigott today, just with a bit of bite he might have with his ex-AFC Wimbledon days.
So Morsey and Pigott as two players that you'd like to see in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Simon Walters, Aluko, and Morsey. We've got 1 minute to go. We'll bring in Bricktop. Welcome. What a beautiful hat that is, Bricktop. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Yes, I'm good. Yes.
Good. Well, very quickly get who do you want to see in the starting 11 today before it's announced in 60 seconds time?
It's not so much who I want to see, and I'm like Yatesy. I'm expecting Morsey to segue straight back in the side there, just to give that a bit of guile, a bit of grit in our midfield there. Be interested to see who is beside him. Is Evans going to be carrying that injury that he's probably not 100%? That's what has been sort of teased about that one, or will it be Backinson next door to Morsey, who, as far as the Coxey jury, I'm very much out on him. I'm not too sure about him.
Matty Phillips, though, loves the player. Right, it's 2 o'clock. I will refresh my browser. Let us see who the team is. Here we go. It's Christian Walton, Donatian, Wolfenden, Edmondson, Burns, Morsey and Backinson who are midfield 2, with Thompson, Selena, Chaplin and Caden Jackson starts today away at MK Dons in front of 7,000 fans.
What?
That is the shocker, Curtis. Your jaw dropped to the floor, and I can hear the groans up and down the pubs of MK.
You're not joking, are you?
I'm not. I never joke, Coxie. Well, not about team anyway.
He's not even on the bench.
So Haladki, Burgess, Vincent Young, Carroll, Aluko, Bonner, and Norwood are the bench. No Pickett again. Correct. So Caden Jackson, Curtis, talk to me about. I like him, but your jaw dropped. So tell me.
He runs a lot, doesn't he? He does run a lot, and to be fair to him, if there's going to be someone that you as part of the defence, I mean, Dean Lewington, 37. If you don't want to. If you don't want to be chasing Caden Jackson around the pitch, do you, realistically? You don't want to be chasing him. So pace wise, it could work out to be quite a good little move. But I don't know. Whenever I see Caden Jackson up front, I don't think goal threat. I just think a lot of pace, and maybe he's going to be there to tire someone out so that either Bon or Norwood in the second half can then basically feed off the scraps. But you know what, I'm always intrigued by McKenna's selections. So, you know what? If it shocked me, it might have shocked MK Dons again. But
absolutely.
I'll go with that.
I wanted to write that tweet live on air so the people know where it came from first. It's one of those tweets, Coxie. It's either going to be an absolute blinder or it'll end up on No Context ITFC by 5-5.
Yeah, let's hope it's the first one there, really.
I'm
both flabbergasted by that selection.
So
really.
Why? He's a good striker at this level. Scored some goals. Got a good pace. Why are you flabbergasted?
He was when he's at Accrington Stanley, Guff. You know, we're still there. Yeah. I personally do like yourself. I do like Jackson, but you know, this is now if we are going to gate crash the playoffs, we've got to get something out of this game. A draw will not be the end of the world, but this is the games we've got to be looking. We can't afford another Sheffield Wednesday or Bolton away performance today.
Absolutely,
which I'm fearful of.
Well, this is it. So I think it's. I mean, look at the team again. I think it's one up front. So I think it's going to be obviously Walton in goal. Back three. Do you think of Donatian, Wolfenden, Edmondson with Burns and Morsey, and then what? Burns and Thompson, Backinson and Morsey in midfield with Selina and Chaplin flanking Jackson. So is it? I don't know. Actually, is it a 4-3-3? Is it a 3-5-2? Curtis, look, you know, what do you think it's going to be? Because it could be a 4, couldn't it? With Donatian, Wolfenden, Edmondson, and Thompson. Then Burns, Morsey, Backinson, insert Selina or Chaplin. I don't fucking know.
I don't know. It's a questionable one. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he could be utilising his wing. He could be going for his wing backs again, but then he could just be going for a flat back. And then I don't know. There's something about Donatian and Burns. Whenever he's got them two playing on the same pitch, I automatically go for a wing back. So I can't see him straying too far away from changing the whole way the back four plays. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably say he's going for the same formation, just a bit of square pegs in round holes, things like that.
That's how I see it, because he loves his inside players. So he loves his inside left, his inside right. I think Thompson and Burns would be the width, with Chaplin and Selina being the inside forwards, Jackson up top on his own, Morsey and Backinson in the central position. Because when Norwood's played, Coxie, he's played in that inside forward role. Last week we had Chaplin's heat map on the screen on Talking Town's Extra Time show. Again, he played in that more inside channel. That's how I see it today. So a 3-4-3, if you like. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think that's sort of screaming out to me to be a 3-4-2-1 formation, you know, with Burns and Tomo, trying to get down the wings there, and you know, a lot of front and back working, hopefully, but it does. With the selection of Jackson, it says to me he's going to try and play the counter-attacking game. I think, hopefully, that's the only thing I can think of, and trying to use Jackson's pace to. You know,
there's lots of pace in that team, to be fair.
There's lots of pace, yeah.
Let's get some comments from the wonderful community. Ben Hobbs had the reaction we all had. Jackson? Question mark. John Ipswich just getting to the ground. Go on, John. I'm glad you got us on. Share us with all your friends. Rob Smith, Jackson cannot play up front on his own. Well, Rob, he's about to. Simon Wall, that's a shocker. Jem Jackson, that's a surprise to say the least. Kieran Baines, imagine Jackson with the winning goal every day. Kieran, I love Kieran Jackson. I think he's a really underrated player by Town fans. He's been done badly in my opinion. I think he's a good player at this level. But he's with the Enciala, the John Nolan, the Paul Hurst. That's the vibe most Town fans get. Simon Wall, has he ever played a lone striker? Then again, it's Caden Jackson, Curtis. He could be an inside forward with Chaplin running the line. We don't know where really he's going to be deployed, do we?
Well, this is I think like that comment there where it says you've got Burns to destroy Lewington for pace. Jackson equally is an extremely fast player, and when he puts the burners on, he can outrun absolutely anyone. So whilst whilst Jackson up front might not be there to blitz the goal front, he will tire out the defence if played in the correct manner. But this whole bad feeling that people get about Caden Jackson, I think like you say, it comes the Nolan and the NCR days and this and so that, and I think the relegation team did tarnish him. But on the other hand of that, I do think Caden Jackson has never really, apart from that little partnership he had with Norwood for a while, and then got disrupted due to injuries and this, that, and so that, he got played mostly up front in that relegation series on his own. On his own. And it was a massive jump to ask a player of he did well in League 2 at the time. And it was a jump at that time to ask him to then go up front in the Championship on his own and fire us to do whatever we wanted to do that season. But no, I think a game like today, I'd argue that there's less expectation on Jackson. It might actually work in our favour because it's one of them with more pressure because it maybe weighs on you a bit. With Jackson, we expect, a lot of fans expect the bare minimum with him. So I think you know what, it might work out. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Get a few more comments, and I'll show you MK Dons' lineup. Norman Greenwald. Jackson must have been brilliant in training. Jem, I'll reserve judgment until after the game on Jackson. I trust the manager, but it seems a strange choice. John Ipswich rotation does my head in. Jem, Defo went up front with Chaplin just off. Paul Mays' draw just dropped as well, but none of our strikers are ripping it up. Matt Whiting trusts KM. Jackson's chance to put his mark on the game. James Warren Elmer, no notification came through today, is 9 minutes behind. I'm so sorry, James. You're not alone in that. Some people have had trouble getting notifications from the channel. I will give YouTube customer services a bit of a prod. Facebook user, imagine those 7,000 fans turn up to discover Jackson's up front. I'll stay in the pub first, mister, but the new manager. Oh, interesting comment. We'll see what it's like at 5-5. Robert Burnett, interesting start in Jackson, but let's back him. Which is interesting comment directly after the Facebook user comment. It was Switch Jules. I trust in Kieran McKenna. He sees more of the players than us. He studies the game and his opponents thoroughly. Seems he's trying something that nobody would expect, not us or even MK. And Kieran likes to take shots instead of laying it off for players. He will score today. I have a feeling. Bond scores 12 on the bench. Norris scores 8 in the last 11. Bench. Jackson scores once in the last 2 years. Starts. Well, yeah.
Not having that Bond comment. The man scored 1 in 17. We need to remember that he had that very good goal run. He scored 1 in 17. The man, he is not the man to fire us to glory. I can tell you that. At the end of the season, he's more than welcome to go back to QPR. More than
absolutely. Welcome. Well, no, I'm not saying absolutely. I agree with him. I was distracted there. I'm not sure about that one. I'm going to roll that absolutely back in. We don't know how lucky we are sometimes because this is the MK Dons Twitter team news reveal. Right, it just literally is a tweet that says we revert back to the side that beat Lincoln last weekend with 3 players returning. Right, no graphics. So I have done the grunt work and I have gone to BBC Sport. I have found that game and I have the lineup from that game where they beat. It was Lincoln, wasn't it? They just said, "Yep, good, right." This is the lineup they played with that day. So I believe this is what it is today. Coming in goal: O'Hara, Darling, Lewington. Lewington against Wes Burns. Oh yes. Yes, please. Watson, McCachran, Coventry on loan from West Ham, Harvey, Corbana, Parrott, and Scott Twine. So I won't ask you who worries you in that game, Bricktop, but do you think the back three there of O'Hara, Darling, Lewington, what we're going to see really is probably Chaplin and Selina trying to occupy O'Hara and Lewington for the speed of Thompson and Burns to get in and around the sides.
Yeah, that's sort of if they line up like that, it's virtually identical. Other than we expect R2 to play behind Jackson, but yeah, then three at the back, they're just screaming for Burns and Thompson and Selina. I mean, our big game player Selina today, and Chapman to literally and Jackson to roast them for pace. Really get them run about, get them being like the headless chickens that we hope they're going to be.
Well, yeah, and Curtis, if Scott Twine lines up there, that is going to be either the responsibility of Janoy Danassian or George Edmondson. Looking at it there, if he lies on the left, it's going to be Janoy Danassian. So how important is that battle, that 1v1 Danassian versus Scott Twine, to the impact and the outcome of today's game?
I don't condone going out to hurt players, but if you can leave a foot in on certain players without injuring said players, I think you need to let other players know that you are there, and therefore they might be a bit more timid about taking these pop shots. They might not want to run with the ball as they would. We need to be a bit all over. We need to out-muscle him. We need to basically push him to the floor. Really, I think we can't afford to give him these gaps of space. Like I've seen his highlights. So someone made like a little montage reel of his highlights just against us. And like in recent games, like when he took that pop shot and it absolutely just screamed over everyone. His free kick, which again you could argue that keeper should have done better on his free kick that he scored with us, but like he's a dangerous player. So I believe in a foot in. I would be leaving a foot in and letting him know that we are there. Because if you give a player like him a chance.
The thing is, Kurt, if you consider going down with cramps so they can give a water break and get instructions as sportsmanship, gamesmanship, in my opinion, the first 5 minutes, put a foot in. That's the same level because everyone expects it. It's been done for the last since football was probably created. Everybody knows generally. You got that 5-10 minute period, particularly in a big game with 7,000 away fans, where the referee knows the emotions will be high, to do a little bit of a rash, but within the confines of sensible. And the referee will normally just tell you, I know it's away, big loud, just calm down, no more. You got that.
It used to happen to Johnny Williams when he came, didn't it? Like he used to get absolutely hacked down, pushed down. He used to get wrestled to the ground, and people did that because they knew he was an absolute threat. So it's one of them. I think with these type of players, you have to let them know that you are there. You have to. It's the only way you might be able to get into their head. This is where mind games come into play, because if you know that someone 2 minutes ago came in a bit rough or a bit too tough on you, you're going to back out of a few things. So this is where the mind games do come into play with it.
Yeah, I used to love that as centre half myself, Kurt. I used to talk to players. I used to, put the foot in first 5 minutes. I broke my foot in the first 5 minutes and play whole 90 with it. I left a little bit too much on myself, not the striker that day. But it was all part of the 1v1 battle. I wanted to get inside his head and make him not want the ball. Every time these players looked for him, I wanted him to say, "I'm out of the game. I don't want this," because you don't want him dictating today's game.
Well, it's like Roy Clark just said there. It's one of them. Whilst I do want him to do that, it can't be in
because he will score.
Yeah, you need to be smart when you're doing it. You can't just be going in with rash. You need to be smart when you're all doing it. So don't do it just outside the D. Don't do it.
Yeah, and it's got to be a sensible challenge, but you got to be, you've got to be sensible. Coxie, maybe that graphic isn't so correct. What if he drifts from the left berth into a more central position? Morsey, Backinson, how important today, and we've been guilty of this for the majority of the season, of leaving a gaping hole in front of our back three. How important is it today that Morsey and Backinson work as a team? When one is pressing, one is deep. When one crosses the halfway line, one must automatically think, where am I going to be? Because Scott Twine will find that pocket and look to make things happen.
It's absolutely vital. It's absolutely fundamental. They do that. If there is a pocket there, like you said, he will find it. And we're in trouble. The game is lost. But fair enough. Sort of give him a sort of bit of a dig. But you don't want to be, as Roy Clark says, you don't want to be giving away stupid free kicks just outside the box. Because
no,
there you go. It's game over. And
obviously, next player that was here, Troy Parrott. Another 1v1 battle, Coxie, will be Troy Parrott versus Luke Wolfenden. I wouldn't exactly call Luke Wolfenden the most physical of centre halves. Troy Parrott, I would go as far as to say, can be a physical centre forward. So that's an important battle. How do you see that one playing out?
That's an important battle. But since he's come back in, and we're not tent fate here, but Wolfenton's been solid. We're not mentioning him usually when we mention him in previous games when he's played. He's not done very well since he's come back, and he's been solid. He needs another solid, no nonsense, day out there today against Parrott. Like I said, Parrott will push and pull. He's going to have to stand up to that. He's got to stand up and be counted. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, he has played really well since he came back in, Curtis. But he's not the most physical of centre halves. He's more of a finesse. That's not a knock. That's a good thing in modern football. But Troy Parrott is more of a flashback sometimes to an old-fashioned centre forward.
Well, from what I remember, his goal scoring form was hardly the greatest. Was it one goal that he scored for us? But I think if I remember rightly, he was more used as to hold up the ball and try. And I know that he tried often to feed it to others, and unfortunately at the time when he was trying to feed it off to your likes of Hawkins and Drennan, it's not going to go well. But it's one of them. I think a game like today, I don't know, a player with the
none of that in my chat, please. None of that, Robert Burnett.
No,
I think for every time, Gov.
I think
it's a trigger word.
Wolfenden with a bit of finesse today. I don't know. I think he'll have him in his back pocket, but no doubt I'll be proven wrong with that about 45 minutes.
I like that. I've got three things we must do today to get a result. I want to see, can we match them? Now, we often hear about the MK Dons philosophy, way of playing, but also how the manager in-game adjusts and he tactically tweaks. And that's why they are the leading team out of the four divisions, Bricktop, at coming back from a goal behind. I want to see, can we match them? Can Kieran McKenna go toe-to-toe and in-game adjust as well as they can? Because that will be vitally important today. The adjustments to the adjustments to the adjustments, won't it?
It certainly will. That's another frightening state, especially the Ipswich Town we know of the last many seasons where we've conceded late on and it's cost us a point or 3 points. So yeah, that is a worrying statistic that they are the boys in all four divisions. That includes the prima donna Premier League there, and McKenna's going to have to, as you said, adjust.
Absolutely. But there will be times, Kurt, when I expect us to be on top. And that's when I want us to play our game and impose our will. How important is that today? When you're on top, you do that.
I think it's about being clinical now. Like the chances, for example, against Donny, the chances that Bon missed with his header when he should have realistically scored, those types of chances in these games especially, they're going to come few and far between. We're not going to have many of them, I wouldn't imagine. So when they come, it's about being. Now, I thinking about that, it does make me think that he's almost trying to burn MK Dons out, and then maybe the second half is going to be where we kind of come into where we hit fourth gear really. I think that's what we're going. I think that is our game plan. I think the plan is to possibly bring on Bon and Norwood as a double substitution at some point, and then therefore overrun them. But no, I think with a game like today, those chances are going to come few and far between. So you need to be on it. You need to be ready to nestle the back of the net, because if you're not going to do it, then I'm sure MK Dons will just run back over and they'll punish us for it. Games like this,
Absolutely.
we will.
And my third thing is obviously keep Scott Twine, as always says, keep Scott Twine quiet. That's a vital one. EJ says Scott Twine scares him. James Wellman says, is it worth putting money on Jackson to score? Keep your fiver in your back pocket, James. I would never condone betting. I can't tell you that because if he scores, it's great, and if he don't, I look like a fool. Ipswich Jules, usual question now that we've seen the lineups. You can have a draw now and go home. Do you take it? Bricktop, I'll ask you first. You can have a draw now. Jules has the power to give you a draw, and you can go home, and that's it. Do you take it?
No, you play the game and you roll the dice. You take the game. Yeah, you got to go for the 3. Go for the glory, Town. Go for the glory.
Curtis?
Same here. It leaves us in the same position we were after the Doncaster game. I don't want that. I want us to go for the throw. If we end up losing, we end up losing. But let's at least give it a go. And try and get those 3 points, because that is most definitely what we need. A point does us no favors.
It doesn't. Good afternoon, Sarah. I hope you're recovering well. Mike D says game plan and then nothing after that. So, Mike, let us know what your game plan would be. Ipswich Jules. For me, I'd say we take the point. Gaining 1 is more valuable than missing out on the 3 at this stage. Someone says never. It will be. Well, it will be. The thing is, Ipswich Jules is onto something here. It's a mustn't lose game in the sense of you want it. It's not a must win it just yet, but it isn't. It's a mustn't lose, because if you lose, then for me, MK Dons are gone. That's the top 3 gone. Possibly if the 3 teams below them win again today, that could be them gone. It could be a game that if you lose, you really put yourself too far back and you're out of the race, not mathematically but practically. So I take what he's saying here, and and if it was 80 minutes 0-0, I'd be tempted to take the point and go home. Absolutely. But at 2:21 on the Saturday afternoon, with the players we've got, that lineup, Selena in League One, Chaplin, come on, Burns, you've got the quality here to go and beat any football team. I do genuinely think that. The 3 teams above us in the league table are, well, not the 3 teams above it, but the 3 in the playoff zone at the moment: Sunderland, Oxford, and Wickham. Oxford are at home to Bolton, Wickham are away to Lincoln, and Sunderland are away to AFC Wimbledon. Yes, I am looking at Sunderland all of a sudden because they don't seem that far ahead all of a sudden. So how do you see those 3 games going, first of all, Curtis? Because if we win and they lose, we could be 3 points outside the playoffs, and that's huge.
I think that's what makes today so. I don't know. It makes it a bit nervy today, because today's a day where it could shape up what it's going to look like for that final run-in. I don't know. I can understand why you are looking forward at Sunderland, though, because they're in an absolute mess. They're in an absolute mess at the moment. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But then again, saying that, I think you can only look as far as Sunderland if we win today. I think if you win today, then you can look that far ahead. But depending on the result today, I think if we lose, I think you can only realistically start looking at 6th place. Win, however, and then, well, I mean, it starts to become an exciting running. And how long has it been since we've actually had an exciting running to the end of the season? You're muted.
I am muted. Sorry. I will ask both of you this question in a second. I will ask you for the results of those 3 games, and I want the chat to get involved as well. How do you see Oxford Bolton going, Lincoln at home to Wickham, and AFC Wimbledon at home to Sunderland? But before I do, to allow the chat chance to catch up, Raxmax Town, I believe, will not lose. They will win. Yes, I'm confident we'll squeak this one. Roy Clark, Doncaster beat these, so they can't be that good. Mike D, obvious game plan from McKenna. It's the sort of thing Jose would do in a big game. Pace up top, play on the break. Mike D. Although I don't like the idea of playing MK Dons as a big game. Ralph Critch, we are not going to win all our remaining games. It'd be nice if we can take 2 of the 3 points we are competing against. Right, the chat have caught up. Bricktop, you start us off. Oxford, Bolton, Lincoln, Wickham. We'll take it one at a time. Oxford, Bolton, first of all. How's that going to go?
Oxford, Bolton will be a 1-1 draw. It'll be a score draw.
Draw, okay. Yeah. Lincoln, Wickham.
Lincoln, Wickham, 2-1 to Lincoln.
Oh, that'd be a great result for us. And AFC Wimbledon at home to Sunderland. Free fall Sunderland. Need a parachute Sunderland. Any nickname you want to give them?
Well, they've got a new manager in now with Mr. Neil of Canaries fame. I think sorry, I know we just said they're a bit like the jelly on the plate, but I think Sunderland will win today.
Okay, so in that's in your world. For me, we would need to win today because you've got Oxford
anyway.
You've got Oxford slipping up, Lincoln beating Wickham, but Wickham have got a few games on hand on us, and Sunderland winning. That for my world, we definitely the point would be really no good. Curtis, Oxford Bolton.
I'm going for a Bolton 2-0 win.
Is that more because you desperately want Oxford to slip up more than you, or is it because you generally think Bolton are on a good form?
No, from being around the area, so I'm based around Bolton area, and I've got a few mates who are Bolton fans, and from what he's saying, he said they've not really looked back since that.
They've not lost in 5.
Yeah, they've not really looked back since beating us. So, and he says he really can't see them slipping up at any point, and they are making a very big charge towards those playoff places like we are. So, no, I think they could be getting a nice little comfortable 2-0 win.
They're 5 points off us, so their charge for me is that little bit too little, too late. But they've drawn 1 in the last 5 and won 4. That's incredible form. Lincoln Wickham. Lincoln, who sit by the way in 17th, and they've won. They won midweek, but they've only won 1 of the last 4 after that. What do you think that's going to be?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
A draw. Okay. And AFC Wimbledon versus Sunderland.
I'm a bit with Pete today. I think with this maybe a little bit of a boost with the new manager. Although I don't is he in charge today? I don't think he is.
Probably not.
He is. No, he is. He is. That was a funny situation because he was going to be taking charge, but yet the club hadn't announced he was going to be the manager or anything. And then suddenly, late yesterday, they announced, here he is on a 12-month rolling contract. So it was a really weird situation for a few hours. But I think
I'll probably say, with the new manager, it might give him a little bit of a second win. So I probably would say 1-0 Sunderland today.
Okay. So for me again, we'd have to get the result, and it could look so pretty at 5-5. Well, Prediction League is still in play. You still have got time to enter it. If you haven't yet done so, I will just quickly ask your thoughts on that. 4 games today. No, that's the wrong one. That is the wrong one. Ipswich Gillingham. You can have that one if you like, but you got to get it right. You got to promise me to get it right as it's already been played. Carlisle, Colchester, Burton versus Cambridge, and Norwich versus Man City. Talk to me about Norwich versus Man City, Bricktop. How is that going to be a rugby score? Please say it is.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, some. I don't know. Somebody sort of highlighted a tweet from a Norwich fan the other day saying that they're going to beat the Premier League champions and then they're going to be champions of the Premier League. It was a really delusional post the other day. I mean, it really.
You do get those delusional posts.
It's really canary confusion there. I think Man City will just do a professional job and win it probably 2-0.
Okay, all right. Curtis, I'll give you, because you're a Northern fan, Carlisle versus Colchester.
Don't know. Colchester had a bit of an uptick in form recently, haven't they? They've had a little tiny bit of an uptick, but I'm gonna say horrible drab 0-0. The weather's awful up here, so I'm gonna say an horrible drab 0-0.
It's beautiful here, blue sky, sunshine, glorious.
Yeah.
4 games, 60 seconds to enter, free to enter. League table, I will do a spot prize next week, so get yourselves in this week to ensure you're into next week. The last thing on today's agenda is our bold predictions. Half an hour to 3 p.m. I've got to catch a ferry. I'm joking. I make myself laugh so much sometimes. Guys, when you say I'm glad someone does, what my wife says all the time. Right. Bold predictions. Curtis, what do you think it's going to be today? MK, Ipswich.
Bold prediction, 3-2. For us.
Okay, 3-2. I like it. It's not as bold as mine's going to be, but I do like it. Bricktop.
My head says a 1-1 draw, but my heart says a 2-1 Ipswich win. And that's what I'll go for.
Okay. 2-0 says Rax Max. Oh, by the way, back to what we were talking about a second ago. Robert Bennett says Oxford win, Lincoln win, and Sunderland will win. That'd be a bad day for Town if you don't get 3 points. Ipswich Jules, Oxford win, Wickham draw, Sunderland draw. That wouldn't be a bad day, to be fair. Ben Hobbs, Oxford and Bolton 2-1 of Bolton. I like that. Roy Clark, Oxford 1, Lincoln 1, Lincoln 2, AFC, Lincoln 2-0, and now it's Wickham AFC. He's got himself confused there, poor Roy. He's transposing teams. We've got Selena needs to step up today. Absolutely, Ben Hobbs. David Prince, thank you for the comment, David. Welcome in. 2-2. Brian Dowd, thank you for the comment. Welcome in. 2-1. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Town win. I wrote that down before the team sheet. I actually had as goal scorers before I saw the team sheet. Bon hat-trick. But as he's not starting, that's probably a little bit of a big step. So I've changed it now to Jackson Wolf, and I can't decide the third player. Maybe a Lewington own goal. Why not? Have a torrid afternoon. Neil says, 3-1. I just fancy us today. It's a new Ipswich under McKenna. It's a new Ipswich. This is the big game, Ipswich. I think they're going to relish today. I really do, Kurt. They're going to relish it.
Actually, I'm going to go from the 3-2, but I'm going to say it's 2-2 until about the 85th minute. And I'm going to say there's going to be one goal that settles it in the last 5 minutes of the game. That's what I think. I think it's going to be a very tense one at the end, I think.
Okay. Kieran says 3-0 Town. Bernie says 1-1. Safety goes with you, Coxie, 1-1. Roy Clark says 1-0. And Simon Wall says 0-0. Well, wherever it is, do not forget at full time, the moment the full time whistle goes, whether you're in Stadium MK, in the car park, listening, if it's safe to do so, in the car on the way home, or at home, like sadly we are, you can join in with the Fans React, the show that we give the microphones over to you. We've dropped the links in the chat, and you can come on and have your say about your football team on your platform. We may be back at half time. It depends how the old tonsils are. I've got tonsillitis, so I'll have a few sips of water and see how I feel. But until full time at the very least, hopefully Town return with 3 points. With love, with Ged. That's Bricktop. That is Curtis Yates. Come on, you Blues.
Come on, you Blues.
Let's have it large.
On a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without